a good segue into the Packers, 3.5 point favorites against the Bucs. Juiced at this point in the week if you're looking to grab Tampa and the hook. Total of 41.5, down from around 42.5 from earlier in the week. So both teams, I'm looking at the total for this game. Both teams have hit the over in each of their last three, but I'm actually, not that this total is ultra inflated as a result of each of their last three games, but I still think it's a little inflated just based on the kind of script I see playing out. I think both teams are going to try to go run heavy for a couple different reasons. And by the way, the pace for this game is projected to be the sixth slowest among all the Week 15 games, which I think also sides with trying to run the football, certainly, and grinding the clock a little bit more than if you're going pass heavy or maybe at least 50-50 split or near that. So both defenses run a lot of zone, two deep safety, with softer zone coverage, and that limits explosive plays. Joe Barry and the Packers defense has been doing that for a while since he's been the Packers defensive coordinator, but it does open up the ground game underneath, which we saw on Sunday night going back to 2 weeks ago for the Packers against the Chiefs when they were able to sustain drives. Kansas City, I'm talking about. And when you look at Green Bay a little bit more when it comes to the metrics, allowing the ninth highest rushing success rate, and the Bucs, as we've talked about ad nauseum, want to run the football on early downs, even though they have the lowest rushing efficiency in early down situations. But it did work against Atlanta, which kind of makes me think Bowles and Dave Canales, their offensive coordinator, are going to kind of try to do the same thing against a defense where it should work yet again. And also you factor in Baker Mayfield has historically struggled against zone concepts, on top of the fact that the Bucs offense has struggled when they've gone out of division against at least above average competition, which I think we both agree the Packers rate in the upper echelon of the NFL when it comes to power ratings. And then when it comes to the Packers offense, it's not that they're run heavy or anything like that, but we saw Love regress a little bit and against the Giants. And it was a good spot to back New York, which you did for sure. But before that Giants game, or before a turnover in that Giants game, the Packers had gone 32 straight drives without a turnover. So they were due for some semblance of negative regression. It came, and Jordan Love had a negative 9.3 total EPA in just overall in that game. It wasn't just the turnovers that plagued the Packers. He didn't play well. No Christian Watson, definitely made an impact. He could be out for this game. Also on the Bucs defensive line, potentially no Vita Vea, which would certainly probably make Matt LaFleur a little bit more lean towards the ground game, especially because Dillon has been a bit more efficient in the second half of the season, especially when you go back to that Chiefs game a couple weeks ago. And the Bucs, along with the Packers, rank below league average when it comes to rushing success rate allowed. So I think we see the total, at least when it comes to both teams cashing their overs in their last three games, come back down to earth here with an under. But what say you, Mo? Any thoughts on the total?
I'm a little bit surprised you like the under, to be honest. Just given all these defensive injuries for the Bucs, like you said, Vita Vea.
And Packers.
Yeah, but this Bucs unit is really scary at this point. I mean, Carlton Davis missed practice, Ryan Neal, the safety, and then their linebacking core. Levante David is playing, but I think maybe less than 100%. And then Devin White also been hurt. It's a lot of injuries, man, on a really kind of an older unit. So, more thin unit. It showed up in the Atlanta game, man. I mean, Desmond Ridder absolutely clowned these guys, which is crazy. 347 on 8.7 yards per attempt, and not in a situation where they were playing catch-up at all. In fact, they had the lead for a lot of that game. So I am willing to give the Packers, like I said, a little bit of a pass for the Giants game. It was a rough spot for them. I think some big plays, they lost contain on some scrambles. They had some poor run defense at times, but the Bucs are very poor running the ball. So I think it just honestly might come down to that. Like you were saying, we know they're going to try to pound the rock. If it works, then the clock's going to be ticking here, and it could work because the Packers just aren't that good stopping the run. I do think Jordan Love should get back on track here, though. I kind of do lean to the Packers. I mean, you have a coaching staff in the Packers that does seem to be running out there with a good game plan. They are getting good performance out of their quarterback. And then I think maybe one of the worst coaching staffs in the NFL on the other sideline. I would kind of lean toward the Packers here. Total, I see what you're getting at, so I don't know, maybe I guess just neutral feeling on the total at this point.
Yeah, I lean towards the Packers as well. I was considering it, but I like the theoretical script on paper. If the Bucs get into a negative game script and this isn't situation neutral when it comes to pace for both offenses, then I could be in trouble. But I think it plays out to where both teams are going to try to run the football despite the injuries. I think the injuries actually kind of play to my advantage, especially with Vita Vea. If he's at least banged up, which I don't see how that wouldn't be the case, even if he does wind up suiting up. But those are bets for this week. I have the under in Packers Bucks. Mo has the Rams and the Cardinals, two NFC West teams. And I have the Bears. So a couple dogs, a favorite, and an under